So remember the days of you'd go off to basic training, AIT, and some point put together your dream sheet and put down some locations you would like to go to, but probably not get any of them and just get sent to some random ass place? Well, those days might be over. So the Army recently just announced a new program that they're going to be doing that could potentially kind of change that. There's some catches to it, though. Okay, this is not going to be available to everyone, but potentially, maybe you out there, maybe you will have a better opportunity to get that duty assignment that you want, because the Army has actually talked about a new active duty recruits will have this choice of duty station for their first assignment. So the Duty Station of Choice Enlisted program is available at select bases in 8 states and features 5,600 vacancies in 17 different career fields. So quite a few MOSs that'll be available, including infantry, cavalry, aviation, and information technology. So your 11 Bravos, your 19 Deltas, it mentions quite a few. I mean, it's probably locations that have like a lot of slots at those locations. So I don't know what the full list is. Maybe 68 Whiskeys could be on that, because usually locations might have quite a few slots for those. Maybe, but those certain MOSs might be able to fall into this kind of program, that the program allows new soldiers to choose a station depending on personal preferences, job compatibility, and needs of the Army. That is an important part, as that was usually like the main factor for just normal figuring out where you're going to go to. Needs of the Army is going to be, hey, this location, let's say Fort Hood, Texas, right? Fort Hood, Texas needs a bunch of 11 Bravos. Well, we got a bunch of 11 Bravos that are about to graduate OSIT at Fort Benning. So guess what? These 11 Bravos are going over to Fort Benning because we need to fill these slots at these units that are shorthanded. So that's a lot of times how it would kind of work. So this kind of still works the same way, right? Needs of the Army, but now it's trying to cater to your choice. If there is a place that the Army needs and it's the MOS that you are, then maybe it fits in line with where you want to go. So the reason why they're trying to do this is, of course, help with recruiting. It helps get people to want to sign up, because the key thing they're kind of targeting is that the Army understands that having the option to stay closer to home and loved ones is a big deal. So they're trying to target those people that want to be closer to family, their brothers, their sisters, their mom, their dad, everything, right? They want to join active duty. They don't want to go reserves. They don't want to go National Guard. They want the full-on benefits. They want the full-time job, but they don't want to be super far away from home, right? They want to maybe have a place. Maybe they have an Army installation nearby that's within driving range, especially like for those times when you have like weekends, you have like a 4-day pass because there's a holiday weekend kind of a thing, and it's easy to go home. You don't have to pay for a flight. You can just drive on over and visit with relatives. Well, then this might be something that kind of grabs those people's attention to get them to actually pull the trigger and join the Army. So you might be curious, well, what are the potential options of where to pick? Now, don't go thinking that, cool, this is my opportunity that I can pick Italy as my first duty assignment. I can pick Japan as my first duty assignment. No, there are select locations that are in this, and those available places are, we have Fort Carson, Colorado, which great location. That's where I currently work at. If you choose that place, you may end up attending one of my classes, and I might be your instructor kind of a thing, right? So we have Fort Carson, Colorado. We got JBLM, or Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington. We have Fort Bliss, Texas, and Fort Hood, Texas. So if you want to go to Texas, there you go. Fort Polk, Louisiana is on the list. I mean, I've mentioned before that it's may not be the greatest duty assignment. Most people would agree with that. But hey, if you're from Louisiana and you live in that area, that might be a great location to be able to go for. Fort Riley, also not the greatest place, but hey, if you're from Kansas, maybe you want to stay close to home, right? You got Fort Stewart, Georgia, Fort Drum, New York, and installations in Alaska. This is a lot of locations, right? If you look at this, that's a lot of the major ones. I mean, it's missing a few of the major ones, right? You don't have Fort Benning on there. I didn't see, what else is like some of the big ones? I didn't see Fort Leonard Wood on there. Fort Irwin's not on there, right? So it's not everything, but a lot of the major ones are on there. And you notice there is no overseas ones really on there, as it actually mentions right here, says that the Army and the program does not apply to overseas locations. A spokesperson from the Army recruiting told Stars and Stripes. So there's no overseas locations on there, but a lot of good stateside ones on here. I mean, look at this list, Fort Carson, right? I love Fort Carson. That's why I re-enlisted to stay at Fort Carson. When I got out of the Army, I stayed in the area. So Fort Carson's awesome. I've heard great stuff about Joint Base Lewis McChord, or JBLM in Washington. I don't know for sure, but I've heard great stuff about it. Fort Bliss, it was on the rough list. There's a lot of people that'll agree with that, but there's also, I've heard a lot of people say that they loved being at Fort Bliss. Fort Hood, tough one, right? I mean, a lot of those units that are at Fort Hood go to the field often, so that's usually the big complaint with it. But there is some stuff in the Texas area that maybe that's great, especially if you're from that area. Like that's usually probably the big thing, right? You may not be necessarily interested in wanting to be stationed there because the surrounding area is great, or maybe you don't care that it's bad, but you have family in the area. And that's really what they're trying to target anyways, is people that want these duty assignments because they have family in the area, or it's in a convenient location that makes it easy for them to travel to see family. I think it's pretty good, right? I think if, you are in one of these MOSs that they're trying to fill, and that is the thing that's maybe like holding you back from like, I don't know if I want to join or not join. I don't know if I'm ready to be away from my family, be away from my brothers and sisters. Maybe you have a really close relationship with like your siblings, with your parents, kind of a thing. And that's kind of one of the things that's holding certain people back. Then this might be, the incentive they need, right? Is that, okay, cool. Now I can do the job that I want to do and choose a duty assignment nearby, because you're going to get to choose it at the beginning. So you'll know up front where you're going to go. Sometimes that's a hard thing for some people, is not knowing where they're going to end up. Are they going to end up clearly on the other side of the United States? Are they going to end up in another country and then potentially not see their family for a year or whatever because it's going to be too hard to come see them? Well, with this possible program, if you're in that kind of category and those are one of the locations you want to go to, you'll be able to say, hey, mom, hey, dad, hey, bro, sis, whatever, right? I'm joining the Army, and I've been told that my guaranteed first duty assignment is going to be this place. So I'm right here. I'll be able to come visit you guys. I'll be X amount of hours away, or right there in the same city, maybe especially like Fort Carson, right? If you're from Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Fountain, those areas right outside of Fort Carson, great, right? You can possibly lock in that your first duty assignment is going to be Fort Carson and you're close to home. So that's pretty good. But I mean, even outside of you want those duty assignments because it's close to home, maybe some of those locations are just what you really want. You really want to be in those areas because you've heard great things about it. Maybe you've been to those areas before, and those are duty assignments you want to get. Maybe you want Fort Carson because you want to possibly come see me, right? Hey, that's fine. That's cool, right? But all these locations possibly could be just duty assignments you wanted in the first place as your first duty assignment. And this program could allow you to kind of lock that in and not have the mystery of where am I going to go to first, right? Where am I going to end up first? So what do you guys think, right, of these locations? Is any of these locations something you would pick? And if so, which one would you pick and why, right? Is it because you want to be close to home, or is it because maybe those duty assignments are something you're just interested in, right? For me, if this was something that was offered when I joined the Army, I mean, sure, it'd be cool to be able just to know where I'm going to go at first, where my first duty assignment is going to go. But if I was trying to have the goal of being near home, Fort Irwin is not on this location. Fort Irwin's probably about 2 or 3 hours away from my hometown. So that would have been nice and very easy to probably see family from there. But otherwise, from someone fresh from what I knew back when I was in high school kind of a thing, I didn't know anything about any of these duty assignments. So maybe just the simple kind of settling kind of feeling of knowing where you're going to go for your first duty assignment might be pretty cool, to be able to actually kind of do some research and be like, okay, none of these locations are close to home. Maybe I don't want to be close to home, but I do my research, figure out which duty assignment sounds the best, and pick the one that I want to go to instead of leaving it in the hands of the Army. So for that reason, maybe it's great. So let me know down in the comment section down below which one you pick. Make sure you like the video. Thanks for hanging out. I'm Christopher Chaos. See you next time. See ya.